What Color is Your Parachute? By Richard N. Bolles. Picture this. The sun is shining, people are laughing on their lunch breaks, the world's spinning along as usual. But for one man stepping out of an office building, everything has just shattered. He's been fired. Again. Richard N. Bolles walked out in a daze, feeling like he'd just survived a train wreck, thinking, how is everyone acting like nothing just happened? That soul-crushing feeling of losing your place in the world, many of us know it all too well. But here's where the story gets interesting. That devastating moment led Bolles to a discovery that would eventually change millions of lives. He didn't just stumble into another job. He discovered an entirely new way of thinking about work itself, one that puts you back in the driver's seat. In 1970, he self-published his findings in a little book with an unforgettable title, What Color is Your Parachute? Since then, it's sold over 10 million copies, been translated into more than 20 languages, and gets updated every single year. Time magazine even named it one of the 100 best nonfiction books of all time. Why? Because it tackles one of life's biggest questions: what am I meant to do with my life? Today, we're diving into the timeless wisdom of this remarkable book. By the end, you'll have a brand new map for your future, one that doesn't just lead to a job, but to a lifetime of meaningful work. And here's the twist. This map starts not with the chaotic job market, but with the one thing you can actually understand and control: yourself. Let's jump in. Ever feel like job hunting is a rigged game? You craft a resume, toss it into the void, cross your fingers and hope. It's like playing the lottery, waiting for an employer to pick you, to grant you permission to have a career. Bolles understood this frustration deeply. He saw that the traditional approach to job hunting is fundamentally broken for most people. Why? Because it starts with the job market, asking what jobs are out there, and then trying to squeeze you into one of them. This makes you feel powerless. You're just one resume in a stack of hundreds, sometimes thousands. From the employer's perspective, their first task isn't finding the best person. It's eliminating as many candidates as possible, as quickly as possible. It's an elimination game, not a hiring game. But what if there was a completely different way? This is the heart of What Color is Your Parachute? Bolles offers what he calls the parachute approach, and it flips everything upside down. It doesn't start with the job market, it starts with you. Before you look at a single job posting or write a resume, you do the deep, rewarding work of figuring out who you are. What are your unique gifts? Which skills do you not only do well, but actually love using? What kind of people energize you? What problems excite you? Here's a secret. The person who gets hired isn't always the one who can do the job best. It's the one who knows the most about how to get hired. And the real secret to getting hired, and being happy once you are, is to stop pretending to be who you think they want, and instead become an expert on yourself. This is a profound shift. It moves you from desperation to power. You're no longer begging for a chance. You're a resource, a person with a unique combination of skills and passions, looking for the right place to contribute. The question changes from, do they want me, to, do I want them? But how do you actually do this? How do you become an expert on yourself? This is where Bolles' genius shines. He didn't just offer philosophy. He created a practical, step-by-step tool that's helped millions build a clear picture of their ideal work. He called it the flower exercise. Imagine a flower with 7 distinct petals. Each petal represents one dimension of who you are, described in workplace language. By filling out each petal, you're building a comprehensive blueprint of your perfect job. When you're done, you have a compass to navigate the work world and find where you truly belong. Let's explore this garden together, petal by petal. The first petal asks, what kinds of people do you do your best work with? Think about it. The people surrounding you daily can either energize you or drain you completely. Some thrive in collaborative, bustling teams. Others do their best work in quiet solitude. This isn't just about coworkers. It's also about who you want to serve. Your clients, customers, patients. Do you enjoy helping young kids or wise elders? people struggling with problems, or people striving to excel. The book introduces a wonderfully simple tool developed by psychologist Dr. John Holland. He discovered that people and work environments generally sort into 6 personality types, with the acronym RIASEC. R is for realistic. The doers. They love working with their hands, with tools, machines, plants, or animals. They like outdoor work and tangible results. I is for investigative. The thinkers. They love to observe, learn, analyze, and solve complex problems. Scientists, researchers, detectives live here. A is for artistic. The creators. They're innovative, intuitive, and love unstructured situations where they can use their imagination. S is for social. The helpers. They're drawn to work that involves informing, training, developing, or healing others. Teachers, counselors, nurses. E is for enterprising. The persuaders. They love to influence, lead, or manage people toward goals. Entrepreneurs, managers, salespeople thrive here. C is for conventional. The organizers. They love working with data, have a great eye for detail, and enjoy carrying out tasks in an orderly way. Now here's the fun part. Bolles turns this into the party exercise. Imagine walking into a party where people have gathered in 6 corners according to these types. In one corner, the realistic folks are discussing building projects and hiking. In another, the investigative types are debating scientific theories. In another, the artistic crowd is sharing creative projects. Which corner would you instinctively head toward? Where would you feel most at home? After picking your first corner, imagine that group leaves. Of the remaining 5, where would you go next? Then a third time. Those 3 letters, in order, form your Holland code, a simple shorthand for the people and environments where you'll naturally shine. This becomes the first entry on your first petal. The second petal is about your ideal working conditions. This covers the physical environment that lets you do your best work. Do you need a window with a nature view, or are you happy in a bustling city office? Do you prefer a large corporation or a small startup? Do you need flexible hours, or do you thrive on a predictable schedule? Bolles suggests a powerful exercise. Think back on every place you've ever worked, even part-time jobs or volunteer positions. In one column, list what you disliked about the physical environment. Maybe it was too noisy, the lighting was terrible, or you were stuck in a cubicle. In another column, list what you liked. Maybe you loved being able to walk to a park for lunch, or enjoyed the casual dress code. Then take your dislikes and, for each one, write down its opposite. If you hated noise, the opposite is a quiet environment. If you disliked rigid schedules, the opposite is flexibility. Suddenly you have a clear, concrete list of working conditions that will make you happy and productive. This goes on your second petal. Now we reach the third petal, and for many, this is the most important, your transferable skills. Here we hit a huge misunderstanding. So many people think skills are just technical things you learn for specific jobs, like software proficiency or operating certain machinery. But Bolles reveals that your most valuable skills are the ones you can take anywhere, from job to job, career to career. These are things you're naturally good at. They're often verbs: organizing, communicating, analyzing, creating, negotiating, teaching, mentoring. These are the building blocks of any career. But how do you figure out which ones are your favorites? The author gives us a brilliant method based on storytelling. He asks you to write down 7 stories from your life, not just from work, but from any time, about an accomplishment you enjoyed and were proud of. It could be organizing a surprise party for a friend, building a bookshelf in your garage, teaching yourself guitar, or solving a tricky problem in a video game. The key is that you have to have enjoyed it. This isn't about what you can do, it's about what you love to do. For each story, you write down your goal, the obstacles you faced, the step-by-step actions you took to overcome them, and the final result. Then, using a checklist of skills provided in the book, you go through each story and check off every single skill you used. After analyzing all 7 stories, you look for patterns. Which skills show up again and again? Those are your core, your most beloved transferable skills. You rank your top 10, and these become the foundation of your third petal. This exercise is powerful because it's based on real evidence from your own life. You're not guessing what you're good at. You're proving it to yourself with your own success stories. The fourth petal is about your favorite knowledge areas. This is the noun petal. It's about subjects you love learning about, fields that fascinate you. Think about it. If you were in a bookstore, which section would you wander into first? When browsing the internet, what topics do you endlessly read about? What do you love talking about with friends? These subjects are clues to the fields or industries where you'd feel most engaged. Maybe it's technology, healthcare, fashion, history, or finance. Bolles encourages you to make a big, sprawling list of everything you know and everything you're curious about, from both work and personal life. Then sort these into 4 categories: high expertise and high enthusiasm, high expertise but low enthusiasm, low expertise but high enthusiasm, and low expertise and low enthusiasm. The sweet spot is that first category, high expertise and high enthusiasm. The knowledge areas you list there should go on your fourth petal. These are fields where your work will feel less like a chore and more like a passion. The fifth petal gets practical, your preferred salary and level of responsibility. This isn't about picking a random number. It's about figuring out how much you truly need to live the life you want, and what level of responsibility energizes rather than stresses you. Do you want to be the boss making final decisions, or do you prefer being a valued team member executing plans beautifully? Maybe you thrive working alone as a consultant or freelancer. For salary, the author advises thinking in ranges. First, create a detailed budget to figure out the absolute minimum you need to get by. Then think about your ideal lifestyle, the one that would make you feel not just secure, but happy and fulfilled. That gives you the top of your range. This petal is also where you consider benefits, things like health insurance, vacation time, or flexible work-from-home options that are just as valuable as money itself. Having this clear financial picture is crucial because it prepares you for one of the most nerve-wracking parts of the job search: salary negotiation. But we'll come back to that. The sixth petal is about geography. Where in the world do you want to live? For some people, this is non-negotiable. They need to be near family, or simply love where they are. But for many, the world is wide open, and where you live can have a massive impact on your happiness. Just like with working conditions, Bolles suggests making a list of all the places you've lived. For each, write down what you liked and disliked. Was it too hot? Too cold? Too crowded? Not enough to do? Or just right? By examining your likes and dislikes, you can build a picture of your ideal location. Do you need mountains or ocean? Big city or small town? 4 distinct seasons or eternal sunshine? Once you have this list of ideal factors, you can start researching places that match. This petal is about dreaming, but it's also about practical planning for a life where your surroundings support your well-being. Finally, we arrive at the seventh and deepest petal, your purpose, your mission in life. This is the why behind everything else. What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? When you look back on your life, what do you want to be able to say you contributed? This can feel like a huge, intimidating question, but Bolles breaks it down beautifully. He suggests that our purpose often falls into several spheres. Do you want to bring more beauty into the world through art or design? More healing through medicine or therapy? More truth and knowledge through science or journalism? More justice through law or advocacy? Or perhaps more love and compassion simply by how you treat others every day? This petal connects your work to something larger than yourself. It's the spiritual dimension of your career search. It ensures that the job you choose isn't just a way to make a living, but a way to live your values. And there you have it. The 7 petals of the flower: people, working conditions, skills, knowledge, salary, geography, and purpose. When you've completed this exercise, you have a one-page diagram that's a perfect picture of you. It's not a vague feeling or hopeful wish. It's a detailed, concrete blueprint for the work you were meant to do. So now what? You have this beautiful, detailed flower. How do you turn it into a job? This is where the parachute approach really takes flight. Remember, we're not heading to job boards. Not yet. The next step is using your flower as a guide for exploration. You start by taking your favorite knowledge areas from Petal 4 and your favorite skills from Petal 3, and you brainstorm what kinds of careers combine these things. For example, if your favorite knowledge areas are history and technology, and your favorite skills are writing and teaching, what could that look like? Maybe a museum curator designing interactive exhibits, or a writer creating educational content for a tech company, or a teacher using technology to bring history to life in the classroom. You make a long list of possibilities, but you don't stop there. This is crucial. You don't just apply for these jobs. You go out and try them on before you commit. How? Through something Bolles calls informational interviewing. This is not a job interview. Let me repeat, this is not a job interview. This is a conversation with someone already doing the work you're curious about. Your goal isn't to get a job from them. Your goal is simply to learn. You're on a fact-finding mission. You find these people through your network, your school's alumni database, or professional sites like LinkedIn. You reach out and say something like, "I'm exploring a career change, and I'm incredibly impressed with your work in this field. I'm not looking for a job, but I would be so grateful for 15 minutes of your time just to hear about your experience." When you meet, you ask simple, honest questions. What do you love most about your work? What do you like least? What does a typical day look like? What skills are most important for success in this field? How did you get your start? This process does two magical things. First, it gives you a real, on-the-ground look at a career. You get to see behind the curtain. A job that sounded glamorous might turn out to be tedious. A career you never considered might suddenly seem fascinating. You're making decisions based on reality, not fantasy. Second, and this is the hidden power of informational interviewing, you're building a network of allies. You're not asking for a job, so people's defenses are down. They're often happy to share their wisdom. And at the end of every conversation, you ask one final, powerful question. Based on our conversation, is there anyone else you think I should talk to? Each person you talk to can lead you to 2 or 3 more people. Your network expands exponentially. You're no longer a lonely job hunter. You're an explorer, a researcher, mapping out your future. And here's what often happens. As you talk to more people, you become incredibly knowledgeable about the field. You start hearing about problems and challenges companies are facing. You start seeing where your unique skills, the ones from your flower diagram, could help solve those problems. Eventually, after you've talked to enough people and confirmed this is indeed the right path, you switch from informational interviewing to the final stage, the hiring interview. But now, you're not walking in cold. You might be interviewing with someone recommended by a person you already talked to. You're not just a random applicant. You're a referral. You're what the author calls a bridge person, connecting you directly to the organization. You've done your homework. You understand the company's challenges. You know exactly how your skills can help them. And most importantly, you have deep, authentic enthusiasm for the work because you've already confirmed it aligns perfectly with your flower. That kind of genuine passion is something no resume can fake. It's magnetic. This is why, in the parachute approach, the resume and formal interview come last, not first. They're the final step in a process of self-discovery and exploration. By the time you sit down for that interview, you're not just trying to get a job. You're there to have a conversation between 2 experts, the employer, who knows their organization's needs, and you, who've become an expert on yourself and how you can meet those needs. This whole process also beautifully handles one of the biggest fears in job searching, shyness. The idea of networking can be terrifying for introverts, But informational interviewing isn't about schmoozing at crowded events. It's about having quiet, one-on-one conversations driven by genuine curiosity. The author gives us a wonderful system called the PIE method. P is for pleasure. You start by practicing talking to people who share a non-work-related passion of yours. A hobby. You're just talking for fun, getting comfortable. I is for information. This is the informational interviewing we just discussed. You're still not asking for a job, just gathering information. E is for employment. Only after you've done the first two steps, when you're confident and knowledgeable, do you finally move to the actual employment interview. It's a gentle, step-by-step process that builds confidence and turns a scary task into a series of manageable, even enjoyable, conversations. Finally, let's talk about that moment of truth, salary negotiation. So many of us are afraid of this part. We don't want to seem greedy, so we often take the first offer. The author says this is a huge mistake. The salary you negotiate at the beginning sets the baseline for all your future earnings at that company. He gives us 5 secrets to salary negotiation. First, do your research. Never walk into a negotiation without knowing the typical salary range for that position, in that industry, in your geographic area. Use online salary calculators and talk to people in the field. Knowledge is power. Second, never discuss salary until the very end of the process, after they've made you a firm offer and decided they want you. The more they want you, the more negotiating power you have. Third, never be the first to name a figure. If they ask what you're looking for, try turning the question back by saying something like, "I'm sure you have a range budgeted for this position. What were you thinking?" The person who names a number first in a negotiation often loses. Fourth, know the employer's range and define your own range relative to it. You're not just trying to get what you need. You're trying to get a salary that reflects the value you bring. And fifth, remember that salary is only one part of the package. Benefits like vacation time, health insurance, and professional development opportunities can be just as valuable and are often negotiable. The entire parachute philosophy is about taking control, and this applies right up to the very end of the process. So there it is. The journey from feeling lost and powerless to finding a career that fits you like a glove. It starts with a simple but radical idea. Know yourself first. It gives you a practical tool, the flower exercise, to create a detailed picture of who you are. It provides a method, informational interviewing, to explore the work world with curiosity instead of fear. And it equips you with strategies to confidently navigate the final steps, from the interview to salary negotiation. It's a path that requires more work than simply sending out 100 resumes. It requires reflection. It requires courage. But it's a path that leads not just to a paycheck, but to a purpose. A path to a life where you don't just work, you thrive. As we wrap up our journey through What Color is Your Parachute, I can't help but reflect on why this book has remained so powerful for over 50 years. In a world that's constantly changing, where industries are disrupted overnight and jobs that exist today might not exist tomorrow, Richard Bolles' core message is more vital than ever. The book isn't about finding a hot job that's in demand right now. Hot jobs cool down. Industries fade. The real genius of the parachute approach is that it anchors your career search not in the shifting sands of the job market, but in the solid rock of who you are. Your passions, your favorite skills, your deepest values, these things are far more enduring than any job title. When you know these things about yourself, you become adaptable. You become resilient. You can navigate any change the world throws at you because you have a true north to guide you. What I find most beautiful about this book is its profound respect for the individual. It refuses to see you as just a cog in the economic machine. It sees you as a unique person with a unique set of gifts to offer the world. The flower exercise is more than just a job-hunting tool. It's an act of self-discovery. It gives you permission to dream, to honor what you love, and to build a life around it. For a young person just starting out, this message is incredibly empowering. The world will tell you to be practical, to pick a safe major, to follow a predictable path. This book gives you different instructions. It tells you to be curious, to be honest with yourself, to have the courage to pursue what truly makes you come alive. Because when you do that, you're not just building a career, you're building a life of meaning and joy. So how can you start putting this wisdom into practice right now? You don't have to do the entire flower exercise today, just start with one small step. Take out a piece of paper and try writing just one of the 7 stories the author suggests. Think of a time, any time in your life, when you accomplished something you were proud of and, most importantly, that you enjoyed doing. It doesn't have to be big or world-changing. Maybe it was learning a new song on guitar, finishing a difficult video game, or helping a friend with their homework. Write it down. Describe what you did, step by step. That's it. That simple story is the beginning. It's the first piece of data in your own personal research project. It's the first step on the path to understanding your unique gifts. The journey to finding your life's work is one of the greatest adventures you'll ever undertake. It will have twists and turns, moments of doubt, and moments of clarity. But, as Richard Bolles so wisely taught us, you already have the most important tool you need for that journey. You have a parachute. You just need to discover its color. That was a summary of What Color is Your Parachute by Richard N. Bolles. We've touched on the main ideas today, but I want to be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map can show you where the mountains and rivers are, but it can't give you the feeling of the sun on your face or the sound of the wind in the trees. The real magic happens when you make the journey yourself. If any of the ideas we talked about today sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book. Reading it is an experience, a guided conversation that can truly help you see yourself and your future in a new light. A link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this summary helpful and want to continue exploring ideas from some of the most life-changing books ever written, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know this work is valuable to you, and it ensures you won't miss our next journey into another incredible book. Let's keep learning and growing together.